Hey everyone, Mark Holthe here, Canadian immigration lawyer, back again for another Immigration Live Q&A, and I am super stoked about the one today, not only because of the topic, which is what do you do when your express entry application is refused, but it's not just going to be me blithering on. I have an awesome guest that I've been wanting to get on for a couple weeks now, and I'm super excited to have him join me. We're going to get to Alvaro here in just a little bit. We'll wait for a few minutes for people to connect, and make sure that you post where you're listening from. We want to see where everybody is tuning in from, but today's going to be a lot of fun. Sorry, I'm running a little behind today. We had a few logistical things that we had to go through, but I think we're ready to go. Pretty excited about it. All right, let's see who we've got here. Amna's joining us. Welcome. Gurleen right here. I'm doing fantastic, Gurleen. Looks like we've got our Facebook people that are tuning in, which is great. And we've got our YouTube. Anbu, great to see you as well. We've got a really, really good group of people. It's piling in here. So we'll wait for a few minutes. I'll give some shout outs for all the amazing people that are connecting from all over the world. Raul, make sure you post where you're listening from as well, guys. And there's a lot of, hi, awesome. All right. There's a good way to start. And there's Emeka Machi. There we go, from Nigeria. Man, you are hanging in there. For those of you who are wondering, who is this Emeka Machi, the man, the myth, the legend? He is the last person of the group of people that have given me video testimonials for my Canadian Immigration Institute's Express Entry Guide. I'll show you guys about Machi. I'm going to leave you on there, my friend. I'm going to flip over here while we're waiting for people to join. And I'm going to show you guys, if you come here, not only can you try it for free with this orange button, which is so cool, but if you go to learn more here, you will see about Machi there. It's so awesome that you're joining, my friend. I'm happy. If you look and you scroll through here, you'll see these initial testimonials that I had. All of these guys are all PRs, and even Machi, he's just waiting there. He's waiting to come. The travel restrictions have kind of thrown him for a loop, but he's on track. And once things are lifted, he's going to be the last of this amazing group of people that gave me testimonials. Actually, I'm going to backtrack here. Well, there's a testimonial we're watching. I don't really want to do that. But anyways, there's Machi. I wanted to share that with you guys because he is the man. He is awesome. He's been such a long supporter. And eventually, Machi, you're going to get through, my friend. That much we do know. Okay, let's see who else we've got going here. We've got Farshad from Iran. Awesome. Welcome. Shawshank's down in Texas. Very cool. Do you know what, Shawshank? My favorite movie, one of my favorite ones, is Shawshank Redemption. And every time I see Shawshank, that's what I think of, is that guy who's stuck in jail and in the States, and he manages to find a way to break out. Boy, that's an old classic, but I remember it every time I see your name. Okay, we've got Tokasin up in Grand Prairie, Alberta contingent. Fantastic. Ikram is over in Morocco. Welcome. We'll bypass the pleasantries here. Balwinder says hello. Okay, we've got a bunch of questions that are already being posted. We've got someone from Sydney. Just a ton of you guys. Welcome, welcome. Payal's over in India. We've got Masood's over the UAE. And Abhishek says, what? No fancy background today? No, I'm going for the awesome video quality today. Isn't this, this 4K so much better with my actual real office behind me? And I've got my, as I told you guys before, probably, right here you can see is a picture of my father who passed away many, many years ago, but he is kind of my inspiration. And he's right back there as an important part of my background. So there you go. No, it's just me today. All right, let's see who else we've got here. We've got Gurleen from India, Victor in Calgary. Awesome, awesome. We've got a great group of people here. Let's see where else we have. We've got our BC contingent. We've got Joha's down in the US. I hope you're staying safe down there, Joha. It's crazy with that coronavirus down there. Farzan is over in Bangladesh. Welcome. Thanks so much for doing this, guys. I love giving people shout outs. Kareem's over in Pakistan. And Virpal says, hey, Mark, new look. Yeah, actually, I went camping this past week and I said to my wife, why bother shaving? Emeka says here, you're the best. No, you are, my friend. You are. If anybody wants to know about that course, ask Emeka. He can give you the goods on it because he is just waiting. He's got his passport request and his visa, which I think right now is expired for Emeka. But we've got it all sorted out. Once those travel restrictions are lifted, we're good to go. Bolivia, Pakistan, New York. We've got just an awesome contingency of people. We've got someone from Iraq tuning in. And you guys that are the Facebook users are probably watching this in my Express Entry Law private Facebook group. Anyone who's watching through Facebook, you need to realize that Facebook at any time can cancel this stream. They've just been really stupid. So the best place to actually watch this is over in the YouTube channel. So make sure you go over there and check it out. All right, so we've got, Amin says, Mark with the beard, what gives? An awesome camping trip. That's why there was no video on Thursday, because I was out fishing, and I'm going to create a little video just like I did with my horse, Joe, and I'm going to put that in Mark's fun stuff. I think I've got a little channel on my YouTube channel that's a little section in my YouTube channel that specifically relates to some of the crazy stuff that I do. And I want to share you lots of fun that I had fly fishing up in the mountains. It was beautiful. Let's see who else we got here. We got John Roger. We've got Anki from Vancouver. Wow, we've got Zainab's over in Dubai. Grateful to have you here. More Australian contingent, Sydney. We've got Rakesh in Dubai. Okay, I think people are watching these videos are like, man, Mark, just get to it. Stop with the shout outs. Fair enough. We are officially through that. And okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to clear that out. And it is time to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, my very, very happy, very pleased latest client who went through a heck of a hard time recently. And he had applied for Express Entry. He'd used a local consultant. It didn't work out. I have been told that I need to be kinder to consultants, even though they freaking drive me crazy, the vast majority of them, because of the challenges they create for people. But aside from that, I'm not going to paste all consultants with the same brush. That's not fair. There are some good ones out there, but many, many, many are awful, horrible, terrible. And they never take the time to actually represent people the way they need to be. So with that being said, let's shift over here, and I'm going to bring on my special guest here, Alvaro. How are you doing, Alvaro?
Much better now. I'm really, really, really pleased, as you said.
That's awesome. So he's much better and very, very pleased, which is exactly what the result I want all of my clients to have. But Alvaro, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you're from? And obviously you're in Canada now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a Brazilian, so I'm almost 38 years old. And as you said, I'm in Canada right now, and I'm a new permanent resident here. And I have not many words to explain this, but yeah, I'm a Brazilian. I'm a kind of trying something better for my future, and yeah, here I am.
What do you do for a living?
I'm work as a manager in a kind of pet grooming clinic. We are a clinic who we have like appointments for make sure that the pets are doing well, but we also develop a new kind of business in order to have this grooming activity over there. So this is the reason that I'm here in Canada. I brought a cat from Brazil because I had skills in both sides, even for management and grooming. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, Alvaro, our dog, Simba, we need to bring him to come see you because that little bugger is so shaggy and hairy. And when we went camping, he just rolled in the dirt. And I was thinking to myself, man, we've got to get this. I actually wanted to get him in to come see you before we went, but we got a little puppy Simba, and oh my goodness, that sucker, he needs to get a haircut bad. So we're gonna get him out to see you. And in case some of you were listening, yep. Go ahead, Alvaro. What was that?
Just bring it in. It's gonna be a pleasure to do it.
All right, awesome. Well, in case some of you missed it, so Alvaro came over on an LMIA-based work permit initially, and he had been working in Canada and then decided to apply for permanent residence through Express Entry. But things didn't go as you planned, did it? What happened?
Actually, when I came to Canada, I thought like I'm not comfortable to work with government's papers, and I think it's wise to go over some professional. I didn't know about lawyers. I thought that lawyers would take care of something like more important than those things. And I have just orientation about go through immigrant consults. So I hired one to take care of my papers and guide me through the application, because I wasn't comfortable to do those papers and make something mess it up. And
so what happened? so you hired the consultant to help you, and what happened in the end?
Like was going well from the beginning, but somehow at the end of the application, like I would say, for the last step, this professional was supposed to know how to guide me through a document that I was supposed to apply the employment records, and wasn't happening. And I had to do by myself, and I did how I thought was supposed to do. And the result of this, I got like a nice letter from the government saying that I was refused.
Yeah, a nice letter, a nice refusal letter.
Yeah,
right? And they even returned your fee. Right?
Yeah. They said like you're not allowed. I'm gonna invite you. They didn't send me back because I would say because of the coronavirus situation, we don't have enough flights to Brazil. So I think this is the main reason of I was able to wait over here. But got this letter saying, okay, sorry, you're not meeting those requirements. So see
you later, right? After spending all this time. And so you got the refusal. So you got the refusal, and then what'd you do? So you got the refusal, and then what did you choose to do?
Well, first of all, as expected, I got in panic. So I started to call everyone that could have like at least a little hope for my application. So I call others immigrant consults. But thinking about my case, and I had to explain to the government why I was right and they wrong, I thought maybe this is time for a lawyer, because this is huge. This is a step that I need someone with all knowledge. I need someone who knows how to work with the words and who to type a documents properly in order to have this reversed.
Right.
And then I start to call a bunch of people, professional friends, and two friends of mine. They said, "Oh, I had met a lawyer in Lethbridge. Why don't you try?" I said, "Okay, let's do it." And then I got in contact with you. I remember exactly it was just Friday before a long weekend when I got the refusal. And when I tried to get in contact with you, we got in contact in a Monday of holiday. We did like a Skype meeting in the middle of the holiday, so it was awesome.
What? You're saying that that a lawyer actually postponed their family holiday to talk to you?
Well,
that's crazy.
I'm not
what
saying
kind of crazy
this.
Lawyer would do that?
I'm not saying this. I'm just saying that I got my first appointment on a holiday. Exactly like in the middle. And I thought like, well, let's do it. At least I can see this lawyer caring about my situation. I didn't know you yet, so I just said, okay, this show me something. And then we got like appointment done. I explained all my situation, like with all my hard feelings at that moment. You were so clear with me. You said, well, I need to be honest. You need to keep this in mind. This cannot work. So it's better you to see plan B, C, D, because this maybe not work. So you were really clear with me, but you did everything that we could. You did more than you needed. Actually, I need to tell this, like, you did a way more than we agreement to do. If you get my contract, there is like a half that you did. And I have this. If someone ask if you have this set it up before, no, we didn't have anything set up before. Actually, I'm kind of nervous to be here, like kind of alive. But yeah, and you were awesome. Like I had all my process done, way better than I expected. I got some kind of informations like the same amount that I pay for that professional that I had at the beginning was the same amount that I would pay for you.
Yeah.
Guide me through the process. What make me a kind of why I didn't look after a lawyer before. But yeah, I'm really glad. I'm really thankful for God, for you to be all available. Like you were all available to help me out and go through this process. Like it was awesome.
Well, I'll put a little bit of context to this. So, as many of you know, when your applications get refused, and this is right at the heart of the title of this live Q&A, when you get an application refused with express entry, usually it's because of something really small. So maybe you'll forget to provide a color copy of a police certificate or something like that.
Yeah.
But in the case of Alvaro, the main issue was something that a lot of people face, but it's much more substantive. In this case, it wasn't that he was missing any documents, but his reference letter just wasn't super strong. It didn't have all of the duties that were required to show that he had performed a substantial number of the main duties of the NOC. And so I'm not going to get into a lot of details, but it was a very, very tricky situation. So when his application got refused, I can tell you since January 1st, 2015, when Express Entry started, I have never, ever gotten a reconsideration request accepted. So when it's refused, you submit an application you submit a web form request asking an officer to reconsider it. And so we requested the GCMS notes. We waited for those to come back. This was like 3 weeks at least since the refusal, maybe a little bit longer. Then we went in and we went painstakingly through and identified every duty in his existing letter that was submitted, because we can't just ignore what was originally submitted. And we matched that up with every single duty in the job description. And then I put forward a whole bunch of creative legal arguments as to why he should not be refused. And we submitted the reconsideration request. I'll be honest, I did not expect that it was going to get accepted, but it was, right? They accepted it. They sent an email back to Alvaro and they said, provide a new updated payment receipt. And they'd agreed to reconsider it. And within maybe a little over a week longer after that, Alvaro got his letter saying he was a permanent resident of Canada. And it's
6 days to be exactly.
6 days later. And so I want to take this opportunity now to give a huge shout out to immigration, because so often I say that they are heartless, they're cruel, that they don't care about people. But in these circumstances right here, they were willing to accept the fact that maybe the refusal wasn't correct, and we're willing to open it up and give Alvaro that second chance, which massive shout out to IRCC. So I wanted to bring Alvaro on to give you guys hope and to realize that if refusals happen, there is at times things that you can do. Now, we were successful with the reconsideration request, but we didn't leave it at that, did we? I sent you to someone to consider another option, didn't I? Do you remember who I sent you to, Alvaro?
To get in contact with a lawyer in Calgary, that she was able to go all through the process by the court. So
we had, so I can tell you, we had a backup plan in case the reconsideration request didn't go forward. So they knew right away in my submission that if they didn't accept the reconsideration, that we were going to consider doing a judicial review, because it was very, very uncertain as to the strength of their refusal, if that makes sense. So Reka McNutt, I just want to switch over here, Alvaro. We're going to switch over to the website, and I'm going to, just for a second, because I want to point out to everyone that I also have the Canadian Immigration Podcast. And the nature of this whole discussion is all about what do you do when your visa is rejected? Well, over the years, I've done a ton of really, really important podcasts on this topic. And I brought in some of the best immigration lawyers across the country to help me. And you can see here, Christy Jones came on and we talked about navigating the quirky cases. This is the difficult processes. Has your Canadian immigration visa been refused? So Richard Kurland, I brought him in to talk about how to overcome visa refusals. How to challenge an officer's decision when your visa is rejected. That was with Stephen Murins, a really, really good lawyer out in BC. And Reka, this is the one right here, Reka McNutt, who I refer all of my administrative work to, and then you can see right here, judicial review. This is the topic. This is what the option is if your express entry application is refused and immigration is not willing to accept reconsideration. But you have to act quickly. You have to move quickly with filing a leave application. And go and tune into this podcast and you can check this one out. And so there's just a bunch of them. And then, you know, what to do when your Canadian visa application is rejected. I actually have to update this one, but I probably get, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000 people coming to this one every day, every month on this site. And it's all about GCMS notes and requesting them. So I wanted to just give everybody just a little bit of a notification about that. And just to let everybody know that there are a ton of resources that I've created that are all over, not just on the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook or YouTube channels, but I also have the Canadian Immigration Podcast. And I'm doing a series with Reka on a bunch of hearings and appeals podcasts, all designed to explain what happens when things go south. So that's kind of it. Now, Alvaro spent quite a bit of time talking about how awesome I was and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is I did the same as any good quality immigration lawyer would do. I would expect that Alvaro, if he went to Reka, if we went to Christy Jones or Richard Kurland or any of these lawyers that I brought on my podcast, they would have done the same thing, right? And I know for a fact I'm not the smartest immigration lawyer across the country. There's guys that are way more smarter. There's some gals that are just really brilliant with this stuff. But the difference between me and everybody else is nobody cares more than I do about these applications. They might care the same amount, but no one cares more. And Alvaro may have been celebrating when he got it, but I would wager I was celebrating every bit as much as he was in getting that application overturned and really giving Alvaro the opportunity to pursue his life in Canada. Because if this didn't work, Alvaro, it would have been really uncertain, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I think the most important, if someone is looking to hire a professional to help you about this tricky situation, what is express entry, documents matters. How you do the documents matters. It's not just submit the documents. It's not just upload information on your website. I would suggest you go over Mark Holt, that I know that's gonna help you. Yeah, it's gonna help you at least make a document that you won't need to face this kind of situation and have to explain the government or whatever why you did something wrong. So I think when you say, I want to hide someone because I'm not feel comfortable as I was, look for someone that's gonna help you. For sure. It's not just someone is going to ask you for payment and fill it up a express entry application. That's going to just waste money.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alvaro, for joining. And I want to reiterate, guys, I didn't bring Alvaro on here to say, hire Mark, he's the best lawyer, because that's not the case, right? That's not the case. The reality is I wanted to highlight the success of Alvaro in not accepting the refusal. And just today, I had a consult with someone who had a huge issue down at the border. Their consultant told them to go down and do a flagpole around the border, which anyone who knows what's happening with the coronavirus knows that the borders are not accepting flagpole. They sent him down. The border officers found something that they felt was enough to send him home. And when he went back to the consultant just blamed them and basically said, too bad you have to go. Well, screw that. I'm fighting for this person, and I'm not just going to accept a border officer's decision. I'm not just going to accept an immigration officer's refusal. If it's correct in law, then I'll accept that. But officers' decisions are not always perfect, and that's why immigration lawyers are here, and we fight for you, and that's the difference. And so I just wanted to just really celebrate and congratulate Alvaro. I'm so happy for him. My dog Simba is gonna love going to see him, and so we're just thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
All right, okay, we'll let Alvaro go, and we will jump on, and we'll have Igor's there giving a congrats as well to Alvaro. So we've all been working really hard to get it through for him, and I'm super excited. So any last words for the listeners? Any before we say goodbye?
I think if you're aiming to come to Canada, just do it. It doesn't matter how much it's gonna cost, how hard it's gonna be the work. Just do it. Do as hard as with your heart, honesty. Try to have like professionals around you, and just do it. Don't get ashamed of something. Don't get like upset or discouraged because something get wrong. So have good professionals around you, have good friends around you, lay on God's hand and just do it.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Great parting words. Great parting words. Thanks so much, Alvaro. We'll say goodbye to you, and we'll jump on and now start answering listeners' questions who have been waiting so patiently to kind of see if Mark's going to actually answer any questions today. But this was all about celebrating Alvaro. And it's interesting as I watch these videos, I watch how many people are tuning in. I'm able to see the numbers that are rising and falling as people come and check it out. These videos are not designed to give exactly what every person wants. You know, I try to do a little bit of different things here and there, and I try to experiment, bringing people on, celebrating the successes. Some people don't care. They just want their question answered, and that's totally fine. So those of you who are here, who watched this, who participated, who are saying thanks to Alvaro, that's what this is all about. It's all about just being one big Canadian Immigration Institute family. And I think as many of you know, as a Canadian immigration lawyer, this is my passion. This is my life. You know, in December, when I left my previous firm and I started Holthe Immigration Law again, it was the happiest day. Well, I've had some pretty happy days in my life, but one of the very, very happiest days to be back on doing things the way I want to. I'm super excited to have a new lawyer that's going to be joining me as well. And she's going to be starting August the 1st. And I'm just, I'm doing everything I can to pull together the brightest, smartest people to represent you, to help you. And as I said, I am not the smartest, but I care, and I'll try, and I'll fight. And that's what you're getting with me. And am I stupid? No, I'm not stupid. Obviously I made it through law school and I did just fine. And I've had really wonderful opportunities, but my expertise and my specialization rests in caring. And that's what the whole firm is about. It's all about caring. Okay, let's see what we've got going on here. Let's see the questions. It's time to shift over and to answer some of our listener questions. We've got here, some of these comments are great. I love you guys and the comments that you put in. I love that birthday cake. That's a celebration. So cool. Okay, let's get to answering some questions. I did want to share a few things that are happening, but I think I'll save those for Thursday. There's been a few little developments. At the end of the day, immigration is still alive and well in Canada. It's still moving forward. There were some issues that we're still dealing with regarding travel restrictions and people being able to come, especially on the company side. Visitors still can't come. People outside of Canada who have express entry applications, you're still stuck. People that have filed paper-based applications, spousals, paper-based PNP applications, you guys are all still stuck. Nothing's really happening. The government is trying to scan in all of these documents to do it electronically. And when I jump here to Aditya's question, any idea if spousal sponsorship is going digital soon? It's not soon. It takes time to be able to do that. And it even takes resources that require collaboration with immigration. And so if you are expecting everything to just flip to digital now that there's social distancing and the coronavirus, it's not going to happen that way. But they are starting to scan them in to make it available for officers to process these when they're working out of their homes, which a large portion are. All right, let's see who we have here. Okay, Sahil, not quite sure. Welcome, we got a Periscope on Twitter. Awesome. So from last 3 weeks, I'm trying to book a counsel for Saskatchewan. Do you take PNP cases? Absolutely, I take PNP cases. I take the vast majority of cases. And when they are not something that I have expertise in, then I refer you to other immigration lawyers that I trust. Okay, I don't even know why I'm posting that. That's funny, Aruj. Boy, you're going to make a lot of brownie points that way. That's for sure. Okay, let's see. Ikram is asking a question here. Hello, Mark. Please, can my husband give me the funds needed and write for me a gift deed? Do I need to upload any documents related to his bank account? Ikram, if he is a non-accompanying spouse, then you pretty much need a gift deed. You need to make sure that those funds are actually gifted to you and you have them accessible for you when you're in Canada. If you don't do that and your spouse is non-accompanying, then you do run a risk. It might work with just including the bank statement of your husband's own account if he's not coming, but I never take that chance personally. If he is accompanying, then I don't worry as much. In fact, I've got responses back from the government indicating that if the spouse is accompanying and those funds are in an account that is solely that spouse's, that can be included and used to prove your, Ikram, your proof of funds for the purposes of express entry. But even in those cases, I'll often provide a little letter. It doesn't have to be a sworn statement or notarized, but just a letter of explanation saying, yes, these are my funds. I am the accompanying spouse, and they're going to be used for our whole family to settle in Canada. Okay, good question. Good question. Okay. Ryan says, hey, Mark, has IRCC starting issuing visas to people in the US? Hearing some rumors. Okay. So one of the things that we are seeing, like I had a work permit that was tied up since probably March, and I just recently know they started processing, they started working on it because they came back and had a request for me for an additional document. And so I know that they are starting to go through. I personally have not yet had a formal visa with a passport with a visa imprinted in it. I've not yet had that, but there are, as you've heard, there are some rumors that is happening. But right now, it's not something that I've seen personally. Okay. Alan says, hey, do you mind telling us about getting married after you submit your application? What do they require from my spouse? Okay, when it comes to getting married after you submit your EAPR, understand if there's a change in family composition, i.e. you're getting married, you can do that without it affecting your CRS score as long as the marriage happens after you submit your EAPR. But do not complete the landing. If you're married in between filing your EAPR and becoming a permanent resident, do not finalize and land and then try to sponsor that spouse after, because they will be barred forever from you being able to sponsor them because of section 117.9D of the immigration regulations. And so because of that, you definitely want to add them in after you've submitted your EAPR, then you get married, then you add them in, and you do that by notifying IRCC via the web form that you're married. You'll provide a copy of your marriage certificate at that stage if you like. That's also something that you can do. But generally, they request a wide variety of documents. And I have received these and helped clients enough with these that I know exactly what immigration is going to ask. Alan, there's not enough time in this episode to go through detailed all the documents that you need. But generally speaking, they want to see the same types of things that they want us to see from you. They want to see police certificates, medicals, passport. The things they don't care about really at this stage are education, work history, because there's no points being awarded to it. But they'll want to see the marriage certificate. So those types of things they will want to see. And your spouse will need to complete background declaration forms, additional family information forms. And right now, they're making those requests by a paper form that you complete, scan, and upload. So those are some of the documents. Hope that was helpful, Alan. Okay. Payal. Yes. Thank you so much. I thought it was really fun and different to bring someone who really was, and you guys have to appreciate this. You know, when I think of Alvaro, he had a work permit application, a work permit that had actually expired. Okay. So the work permit had expired. He had submitted a bridging open work permit based on the filing of his EAPR. When you file your EAPR and you're in Canada and your work permit is expiring, you can submit a work permit extension for an open bridging open work permit right after you submit your EAPR and get that confirmation of submission. Well, that was pending, but his application was refused. So obviously his bridging open work permit would have been refused as well. And he would have just had no options. His employer was not quite in a position to be able to get a new LMIA for him. So his whole time in Canada, everything that he'd poured his heart and soul into would have been gone. And so you guys have to appreciate how in the very depths of despair Alvaro was, and how this decision by IRCC to accept our reconsideration request completely changed his life. And that's why I wanted to bring him on. So most definitely a life-changing moment. Thanks, Pael, for bringing that up. Okay. Okay, this one's a little bit more complicated. Masood says, hey, Mark, how do you add a spouse to an under-process work permit application at a later stage? If the spouse applies for an open work permit, how does she indicate that she's applying on behalf of my PNP and my OMP? Okay, so this one is super complicated. There's a bunch of other things, Masood, that I need to understand in order to be able to assist you with this one. This one is one of the ones that I'd have to do this for, which is, that's legal advice. And remember, with your questions, you have to keep them general. Anything specific to your situation that requires a whole lot more background information for me to be able to answer, that delves into legal advice. So I recommend that you shift over to our site, and that you, if I go over here to our website, I'm not sure if I actually have that page up. I probably don't. And you can see I was going to share a whole bunch of other things here, but I'll just pull up holthelaw.com. This is where you go, guys, to book a consult with me. Just go right here to the Start Here button, right at the top. Type in holthelaw, HOLTHELAW.com, and you'll get here. And then you just click on Start Here. And once you're here, you can scroll down, fill out the information, and you can book a consult with me, and I would be happy to help. All right? So for now, Masood, that's the direction that I'm going to have to send you, my friend. Okay, let's see here. This Facebook user, how much is the end-to-end fees, including PNP application? Wow, that encompasses so many things I can't even describe. But I will tell you guys, if you go to the website, once again, this is something that I do differently than most other people. If you go here, you can see I actually have price on here. And if you click on price and you open it up, it will actually take you to the site where it lists what my fees are, at least for the basic applications that we do. And you can see right now they're listed as $3,000, but we are actually in the process right now of increasing them to $3,500 for express entry, the PNPs, spousal sponsorship to $3,500, but parental sponsorship I'm going to leave where it is. And all of this, the reason that it is at the fee structure it is because we have a collaborative model. I'm not a lawyer who just says, give me your documents, I'll submit it on your behalf, and don't talk to me. We do this together. We get on a call just like this. I share my screen just like I'm doing with you now. In fact, when many of my clients book consults, they're surprised because they're like, wait a minute, this is exactly how you looked in your videos. And I say yes, because this is where all of the magic happens. It's all right here, right on this place, right on the computer, the same computer I do the videos on, and we work collaboratively together. You as a client do the legwork. You essentially become my paralegal. And my clients are DIYers at heart that want to take on responsibility, who want to be taught and learned how the process works. And I spend a lot of time teaching my clients, educating them, so they know exactly why we're doing everything we're doing. And why do I do that? It's so that we don't miss anything. If a client is educated, if a client understands the process, their mind is going to turn to things that they need to bring up, things that we need to address. And then collaboratively, me and that client, we're able to make sure that the application that's going out is not missing anything. Maybe I might miss something. Maybe they might miss something. But together, the both of us, we don't miss it. All right. Great question. Moving on here. Okay. Guillermo says, Thanks for the great content. Congrats to Alvaro. What would you say are the most common reasons for applications to be refused? Wonderful question. That's a great question. That's big bonus. I wish I could, let's see here. I want to do this one here. Guillermo, fantastic question. Okay, so what are the reasons, the most common things? I'll just pull your question off here. If we're talking about express entry, we'll take express entry, okay? The most common things I see are 1, knock, reference letters. Hands down, you've chosen the wrong one, or the reference letters that you've submitted do not have the duties. If your consultant, if your lawyer, if whoever's helping you has not sat down with you and gone through the duties in your letter with the list of duties in the National Occupational Classification System for the position they think that you filled, then they're not doing you a service. You need to be sitting down and making sure 100% that all of that is correct. And I do a ton of consults that are dominated by that. That is one of the most difficult parts of the process. It's one thing to know that you worked as a veterinary technician. It's another thing to ensure that your letter that the veterinary clinic gives you actually works. And that was the problem that Alvaro ran into. The letter that he got back just wasn't very good. It was too general. And the immigration officer adjudicating the application hammered him for that and said, sorry, that letter isn't good enough. You're refused. The consultant did nothing to review it, did nothing to make sure that it matched. It wasn't that Alvaro didn't do all those duties. It's just the employer didn't know that they had to be more specific. And that's the thing that more than anything else that I see people getting their applications refused. Are there other issues? Yeah. Sometimes people don't do the translations properly and they get it refused because there's a portion of a document that isn't translated that they miss. Other times people will not provide a correct police certificate from the jurisdiction they need to get it from. I've seen people who've obtained police certificates from a local police authority not knowing that they need to be from the federal level. And so those are some of the most common ones. What are some other things? Well, as I go through the whole list of different aspects, sometimes people don't realize when their IELTS scores have expired, especially with the delays we're experiencing now. That's another one that we run into problems with. Okay, so those are just some of the high level ones. And this is where I'm going to flip back here, guys, and I want to show you something that I'm super proud of. So if you go right here to my Canadian Immigration Institute, right here, you will see in my DIY courses that I have now opened up a free, the first 2 modules of this are entirely free. And I wanted to do this for a long time. Finally, Igor stepped up and did this for me while I was on holidays. But we've released the first 2. So you've got to go here. You've got to click on here and you've got to register. And it will take you to the first 2 modules of my Express Entry course that really lay the groundwork for everything else. And those modules are now freely available to everyone. And if you like what you see, then go ahead and purchase. And I show you this all the time. But when it comes to purchasing, you can purchase monthly and pay $97 US a month. Or if you purchase now and you type right in here to apply and you type in, I'll put it here, let's see, EEDIY 50. Actually, let me just do it in caps so that you guys can all see. EEDIY 50. I think that's the one. And click apply. It will knock $250 US off of that one-time access. So pay attention to that. Once again, it's EEDIY 50. I'll go back here. I'll punch it in again in case people didn't see it. And in the apply coupon code, type in EEDIY 50. That's what you do. And then click apply and it will knock 50% off. But I don't advertise this. I only do it here in the video for those of you who've taken the time to actually join me, be a part of making this live Q&A experience so amazing. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on here. Who's up next for our questions? All right. Okay. Christian says it's working good on Facebook. I'm glad. We complained to Facebook because there was no bloody reason for them to block it. They said there was something to do with proprietary information or confidential information, or I can't remember what it was, but it's all mine. Like, I'm not taking anything from anyone. Okay. Okay, let's see. Here's a good question. Samir says, please advise if someone comes to Canada illegally on the border, can he do asylum on the border? Samir, this is something that's been shut down right now. If you come to the border, and I'm assuming from the US, and you appear at a port of entry, unless you have a family member or fit into one of the other exemptions, the Safe Third Country Agreement is going to potentially bar you from being able to come into Canada. But understand, there's been some recent changes in the refugee system in the courts that are now going to start moving their way through the system. And this topic today, Samir, isn't designed to cover everything refugee. I'm not a refugee lawyer. I'm not an asylum lawyer, but we'll definitely bring some other lawyers onto the podcast or even here to talk about it. Okay, so hang tight, and I hope you can hang. I hope that you'll be okay. All right. Okay, did you have a talk with IRCC again, Aditya says? Why did they start FSW and stop again? Could it be due to the COVID cases going up again? Aditya, it seems like they're maybe staggering, and we talked about this last week, that potentially they could go FSW, then CEC, then FSW. The reason is because we have a lot of international students, a lot of foreign workers, and they are really filling a lot of the spots right now. And let me just see if I can go back here and find the page that I was going to show you originally. This was actually one of the topics that I wanted to cover. I'm going to flip over here to the website, and then I'm just going to shift here, and you can see Canada, you can see from this site right here, increasingly selects temporary foreign workers for immigration report. And that's the statistics. And obviously, there's nothing magical about it. All of you guys know what is happening right now. And when we have individuals that are in Canada on work permits already, they are being given preference, at least for 50% of the draws, to immigrate to Canada, which makes sense. If people are already here, they're already working, they're already integrated into the Canadian society, those individuals are being given an opportunity. Individuals who are outside of Canada, well, you just wait and see, but I'll bet we have an FSW draw in 2 weeks' time. It's entirely possible. Okay, let's see what we have here. Let's see here. Okay, so Tricia says, I mean, no news from Alberta, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. How about express entry profiles, which are going to expire in about 4 months? Would they use a tiebreaker rule? Tricia, understand, a lot of the PNPs are now taking a step backwards, and they're trying to figure out, okay, what does the future hold? We've got so many Canadians that are out of work right now. What are we going to do? So many of them have really paused those notifications of interest, and because of that, I know many of you are just sitting in the pool. Well, if your profile is going to expire, then you have to resubmit. It's as simple as that. And they're only in there for a year. If you're not drawn, you have to start over. And yes, you lose that tiebreaker standing when you have to resubmit into the pool. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. Okay, let's see who else we have here. Okay. There's a lot of questions. So this one from YouTuber Faye says, hey, Mark, hopefully you can answer. Open work permit holder has as a dependent of a student. If the student finishes 1 year early with studies, is the open work permit still valid even though the expiry of the open work permit is 2021? Absolutely. Work permits only expire if they reach the expiry date or a removal order becomes enforceable. So they're really work permits in those circumstances. You can continue to work. You don't want to leave Canada, because if you leave and then seek to re-enter, a border officer could say, well, the spouse is no longer studying, therefore we're not going to allow you to re-enter and work. But as long as you're in Canada, yes, Faye, you can absolutely continue to work under the same terms and conditions as that spousal open work permit. All right, I'm going to answer one more here, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to jump ahead. Ellen says, thank you. You're very welcome. Bella, I have to give Bella a big shout out. She is so awesome. You guys have to go to the YouTube channel and go search for Bella and read her story. Well, watch her story. Watch her tell her story. Unbelievable. She says, schedule a consultation. He can go over your scenario and will tell you how your case is looking like. Absolutely, Bella. That's exactly what I do. Okay, Ana Costa here is from Brazil. Same place Alvaro is from. Got a COPR on April 23rd, but still need to do the landing. Already working for Canadian company. Should I apply for a PRTD or should just wait for travel restrictions to be lifted? There's not much that you can do in this situation. You're really stuck, like many people are. Yeah, with the confirmations of permanent residence, you just have to wait, unfortunately, Anna. All right. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much. And we've got a lot of people that were tuning in. I'm sorry I wasn't able to answer everybody's question, but I wanted to devote time to tell the story of Alvaro today. So Thursday, I'll be back, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I want to, as always, express appreciation for all of you that are joining. Once again, if you didn't get your question answered, book a consult. $210 Canadian for a 25-minute consult, but I review your information in the form that I send out before the call starts. We hit the pavement running. That 25 minutes is devoted to you and not just you telling me your story. I've already read it. Answering your questions, helping you, giving you advice that you can trust. That's what we do. This is Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, former high school teacher, blending all of this together to create the Canadian Immigration Institute and this Canadian live immigration Q&A. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you on Thursday.